find myself in a difficult situation tonight, giving you a sermon. There's a lot of things I want to say that I really shouldn't say because some people might interpret them as political. So having said that, you know what I'm talking about. We mention the word peace a lot in our service. There's not a lot of peace going on in the world right now. What do we do? Now notice the way I phrase that question. Some people say pray for peace. Some people say let's hope for peace. Well, praying and hoping are good things to do, but I don't know that they have a really strong effect. This week in the Torah, we mention the Tochacha for the second time of the year. The Tochacha translates to warning or admonition. And it is a very stern warning, where God tells the people Israel, if you do what you're expected to do of the covenant, if you perform the mitzvah and the commandments, then good things will happen. Your earth will produce crops. You will not live in fear. Enemies that come to you will run from you. They will be afraid. Wild beasts will not bother you. Things like that. Takes about maybe, 7, 8 verses. And then for about 55 verses. Who was in my class last week, this Sunday, where we went over the reading for this Sunday, for this Saturday? 55 verses, right? The fifth Aliyah. 55 verses. There are parshas that are not 55 verses. It goes on with dire consequences of what will happen if we don't, if we forsake, if we ignore the commandments, and we follow the wrong path, if we follow idolatry, if we follow paganism, and if we say, and this is in the Shema, if we follow our eyes and our hearts and don't follow the commandments, bad things will happen. The earth, the sky will be like copper and the earth will be like iron. That's what it says. And you will not have produce. Enemies will pursue you and you will run. They will defeat you. They will exile you. They will scatter you among the earth. Dire things. Some rabbis say that when you're reading that parsha, that particular aliyah, you're supposed to whisper it. Because when you say things aloud, God's like, okay, if that's what you want, I'll give it. No, we're just kidding. We don't do that. But here's the thing. A lot of you know I spend time working in mental health, working with addicts, 12-step, right? AA, NA, all that. And what do they say? They say a lot of times people on their path, before they turn around, they have to hit rock bottom. And it is only when they hit rock bottom that people turn around. Now, some people do not hit rock bottom. They end up not hitting anything. They just go. They just die because they just don't get it. So we talk about hope and we talk about peace. In the Tochacha, at the end, there is hope. But I don't mean hope like we hope for things. God says, even when you're in exile, I will be with you because I know who you are. I know you will return. I know that sometimes dire things need to happen before you turn around, but I have confidence that you will turn around. It's all action. It's all doing. Let me suggest that our world has not hit rock bottom yet, but we're getting there. And there's a part of me that hopes we do hit rock bottom, because only then will people wake up and say, this isn't working. Right? It was attributed to Albert Einstein. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You want peace, you have to work for peace. And people need to get that. You don't just get it. You can hope and pray as much as you want, but you got to work for peace. You got to be nice to people. Rachel and I were watching a movie a while ago. And this one woman was an interesting story. She lost her mother at a very early age. And, as a teenager, she was kind of asocial. She didn't get along. She just was depressed and everything. Her father comes to her, played by Martin Sheen, and said, "Your mother died of cancer before she died. She left you these tapes to talk to you when you needed them. I think you need them." So she takes a trip and she listens to the tapes of her mother from like 20 years ago while she was dying of cancer during that time. And at one point toward the end of the movie, she meets a guy. And the guy says to her, "I used to think I could change the world. And I realized I couldn't, but what I realized I could do is do it one by one, person by person." So maybe that's part of the answer. If you want to have a green, beautiful forest, you water the individual trees. You nurture the individual trees. And that's what we need to do. People need to start doing. You be nice to people. You understand. You take the higher road. What does it say in Pirkei Avot that the Native Americans have taken credit for? I don't know, maybe they said the same thing. Don't judge a person until you've walked from their place. It's a beautiful way to live. That's what's going to turn it around. That's what's going to give us peace. When you are peaceful, we will have peace. When you are hopeful, we will have hope. When you realize that what we're doing is not working, we have to try a different way. That's what we got to do. We have to be nice to each other, even when you don't want to. So let's take that away. When we say Shabbat Shalom, have a peaceful rest. Let's work for that peace. Let's take action. And let's do things that make peace. And that's what's going to change the world.
Yasher Koa,